Hello, and welcome to the Reading Entertainment Podcast, episode 352 for May 29th, 2022. Joining me this week, we have Andrew Rowe McFain.
I'm genuinely disappointed that you didn't use any of my intros.
You didn't send them over as WAV files or MP3
Oh,
files.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're also joined by Connor, the Cyberpunk Monk Besh. They're both here.
Hello, and welcome to the Reading Entertainment Show. I am not reading this from a script.
My brain broke right as the music ended.
So it took... what are we doing here again? Oh, right, the podcast.
And
I'm sorry, I took 3 weeks off. I took 3 weeks off. We were back last week, but I took 3 weeks off. You gotta get back into the groove of things. You should have seen me at work. I did nothing. It was actually, that was pretty normal, actually, which was nice. Anyway, Aroa, Connor, where can we find you?
Aroa.website.
Yeah, okay,
and one of those links that I want to bring your attention to is Clinton's Core Classics Arise of the Rune Lords First Edition Actual Play Podcast, found wherever podcasts are found. Please check it out.
And of course, you can find me, Nathan Reading Truth, on Aroa.website as well. I'm reading everywhere. Go to my Twitter, go to my Twitch. I'm on Twitch Monday through Friday. Typically, some days I'm not there. 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. I'll go through the games I played here in a minute. But you, Aroa, what games did you play this last week or last 2 weeks?
the main thing I've been playing, and you're never gonna fucking believe this, has been Persona 3.
Oh, I believe that. Oh. Yeah, it's a good game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also saw you talking about it somewhere.
Yeah. I've been carrying the old PSP Go around and just kind of playing it in very short bursts. Especially like recently, I've had a lot of extra time in the morning at work because everyone else is on their new schedule and I'm not yet. So I'm alone for the first 2 hours. So I'm like, well, I don't have anyone to distract me, so I'm gonna do that. I'm liking it. I'm not very far at all yet.
I think that the PSP version of that game is the best one for you to play. And the reason is because it's different. It's the same game, more or less, but there's like less moving around, if that makes sense. So in Persona 3 for the PlayStation 2, you like run around like you normally would in third person. But because they had to cut it down for the PSP version, it takes away all of that travel time.
Yeah, I can just press the square button to teleport wherever I want to go.
Yeah.
So,
and that's pretty great.
It's got all the improvements from FES, but then also a lot of streamlining, from my understanding, beyond that. So,
I tried
universally considered the best version of the game.
Yeah. I tried, well, I think FES is the best, but PSP version is really good, especially for handheld. I tried playing Persona 2 once, and it's I'm sure I would have loved it in 1990 whatever it came out, but it hasn't.
My brother-in-law had pretty much the same opinion.
Yeah, it's a good game, but not one that I could go back to. It's not like Final Fantasy 7 or 9 where you can just go back and enjoy the game. It has not aged very well. So
it's one of those situations where kind of like how I was excited about Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne being remade because it's like I've never played that, and now this gives me a chance. Wait a minute, it's from the time when JRPGs were bad. So
I have to say I haven't played through all of Nocturne, but I didn't hate it. It's just
it comes from it comes from another time, whenever like a game needed to find some way of slowing you down and we didn't have microtransactions yet. So the best way was to make the game stupidly hard and force you to like grind and shit.
Yeah.
And like I don't have time for that. So I'm still just going to wait until I have a Steam Deck and then I'm going to emulate it and that way I have a fast forward button.
I love
Um
my Steam Deck. It is great.
I I should have it by September.
Yeah.
If the shipment thing is accurate, which it has been.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been pretty accurate.
I also uh have been playing every once in a while No Man's Sky again.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
they did an update recently, right?
there was an update. I haven't been able to encounter anything from that update because every time I play it, I have like open world game syndrome where I get distracted doing other things instead of progressing.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I'm working on that now, but that game has a very big problem of being able to kind of you can trap yourself in situations very easily where you can't get fuel to get off the planet that you're stuck on.
Yep.
And that's kind of where I've been for the last 45 minutes of my game. And so I've been struggling to get the gumption to go back and play it some more.
Oh
Uh,
man, if only I played the game. I could go get you fuel.
you could,
Yeah.
you actually could.
Yep.
There's the stuff that I have experienced because like it's been so long since I've played it. It's basically a new game for the like third or fourth time over now, and the stuff I have experienced is really cool. I love so much what they've done with the game, and it feels like a more casual, friendly Elite Dangerous. Um,
That's good
so
because Elite Dangerous, well, I guess it had some updates recently, and the Horizons update, which added like on foot combat and stuff. Apparently everyone hates it. Everyone
um,
just hates the game now.
Yeah, they I think they also changed some other stuff alongside that, but
Yeah.
yeah, and it apparently has had like some long-running performance issues, and
Also,
yeah,
they
it's
ended console development for it. So
yeah,
like
probably because no one was playing it on console.
yeah, that's most likely it. Nobody wants to use the Kinect anymore. I don't know why. Nobody wants to use the
Uh,
Kinect to play Elite Dangerous.
I one last thing that I want to quickly mention is a game called I don't know how it's pronounced. I think it's Lunacid.
Okay.
Lunacid. So it is. Have you heard of Spooky's House of Jump Scares?
Yes, I've seen I believe Parallax Abstraction play it.
So it is from the developer of that, and it is an homage to Kingsfield. If you know what that.
Oh, yeah. I believe, now you could correct me if I'm wrong. Kingsfield was from Softwares
Mhm.
before Dark Souls. They came out with the Kingsfield games.
Yes,
Okay.
they are like hardcore first-person dungeon crawlers with real-time combat, very much in the same vein as Souls-like games, but arguably more difficult because they control like ass.
Yeah.
Uh,
So like Dark Souls games.
uh, you get out of here. Uh, Lunacid does not have that problem where it controls like ass because it's a PC game. Uh, and like it everything runs at 60 FPS and it feels pretty good. But it is definitely very opaque in terms of like telling you what to do and where to go, which in my opinion is a charming thing. And I'm having fun with it. I haven't made a ton of progress because just like with the King's Field games, if you die, you're done. You go back to the last time you saved, and I forgot to save for like an hour. So you know,
Yeah, I hate that. I've done that in some games where in Mass Effect I lost a character. In Mass Effect 2, I lost a character that I wanted to save, and so I was like, "Where was my last save? 2 hours ago? Well, looks like I'm wasting 2 hours of my life." Woo!
Oh, that also reminds me. Back to Persona for like 2 seconds. Uh, the PSP Go is such a fucking revolutionary portable device, in that it has built-in save states,
Oh,
and that's really
nice.
fucking cool. Like
That's
you only
cool.
get one. You just get one across all games. You have the one save state,
Oh,
but it's just cool because like technically, I think what you're supposed to do is it's meant for like just in case like you can't save in your game and you don't know if like the battery's gonna die or something before you can save again. You can use it like that. Um, but
I
it's such a cool fucking feature. And then like obviously now that the PSP has been completely fucking hacked to shit, you can install a save state manager so that you
um
can have like a bunch of save state slots, and
Final
it's really cool.
Fantasy, the Final Fantasy remakes on the PS1. So Final Fantasy, like 3 and 4, and those games, the Anthology and Origins, those games. I believe, I could be wrong, that they had a save state, or at least one of the JRPGs had like a save state, so you could save the game without a memory card, but you couldn't turn your console off.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was amazing, being a kid that the mom forgot to buy a memory card for like 2 months. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about Connor's games. Connor's game of the week.
Well, you know what I started doing is I started playing that Lego game again, and it's got a problem. It's got a really big problem.
Oh,
I keep on getting the game to crash on me when I try to progress in the story,
uh-oh.
which stinks because I was actually pretty on track for 100%ing this game. And for it to do this like halfway through the final chapter is cruel.
Is this on your
Wow.
Switch?
Yeah.
Oh.
That is surprising for a Telltale game. Telltale?
What?
Traveler's
No.
Ah!
Take
Traveler's
Two?
Tales.
Or no, TT, whatever that is.
Yeah, Traveler's Tales.
Yeah.
Now I want them to do Telltale Games Lego Star Wars.
You joke. I would play that.
I would play that
fuck
too.
out of that.
If it had the same writers, definitely.
Yeah, that would be. It would be silly, but it would be fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I haven't actually touched my Switch in like a week. I figure I'm gonna, hopefully they'll do an update or something like that. About a month ago, I mentioned to Aroa while you were in Eagle Land
Yeah.
that I pulled out my 3DS and started playing through Ocarina of Time again. And I've only played this game for like 3 hours collectively over the course of the month, but it's still a whole lot of fun, especially when you know exactly what to do to progress through it. You could zoom through this game.
Cool.
And Space Station 13, of course, that's not worth mentioning. I didn't get to play any Warhammer, but I've been 3D printing stuff like nonstop.
Wait.
Okay. No, we don't need to do that.
This is
Stop it.
Warhammer.
Knock that off.
I shortened it.
No,
Oh, there you go.
no more.
I figured you were gonna do the whole thing. And
Nope.
that's
I shortened it to 5 seconds instead of the 30 seconds that you had.
I think a good job should be like just annoying to where it's memorable, but I'll fix that later.
Okay.
I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 18 3D printed miniatures in front of me, not including the 5 that I have in pre-assembly and ready to go. My desk is being overwhelmed with plastic.
So you got your
rather
3D
than
printer
whatever.
working.
Yeah, I found out what I was doing wrong, which is that it doesn't do flats very well, and
No.
auto supports are garbage. Do it yourself.
Yeah, you have to. Auto supports are garbage. I mean, they're better than nothing, but they are
Better than
garbage.
nothing, but
And also
not
you want to
You need
like
better splicing software.
you also want to tilt it a lot of the time. You wanna...
it's from like 30 to 50 degrees depending on like what. Like I have a base printing right now because I was frustrated. I was wondering how I can get a base from it. And I was like, wait a minute, I could just make one.
Yeah. And so you want to tilt it, and then also a lot of people will hollow them out. for the size of miniatures that you're making, yeah, it doesn't really matter if you hollow them out or not.
I'm actually painting a Securitron from Fallout New Vegas right now that I'm going to have be a Castellan robot. And I know you guys aren't going to know what that is. But I mean, it's like the size of my palm. It's pretty big.
That's good. You have a big hand. Anyway, we're going to move on to me, Reeton. Oh, also, if you want to see Connor's art prints, if you join our Discord, there's a section dedicated entirely to Connor printing things out and painting them.
Well, I don't always just print them out. Sometimes it's, kits and stuff.
That's true.
It's a place to share art. It doesn't just have to be my art.
Sometimes he carves them out of wood.
No, he does not carve them out of wood.
Carve them out of people. No,
exactly.
No.
Not again. So we're going to move on to me. I played on Monday night. I didn't play anything because I had to go to a work function, which I was paid for. They paid for it. And I think because it was technically a work function, they paid me to be there. Like, I got paid hourly, which was nice. I also had ordered some food. Everybody else ordered drinks, and I don't drink. So I ordered dessert. That's what I did.
I ordered pizza.
Huh?
I ordered pizza. I'm Nathan.
No, I ordered steak. That's what I ordered. I ordered like a $27 steak because I wasn't paying for it.
Ground beef.
And then I ordered some Marionberry cobbler, and they didn't have any, and that made me sad. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I played Batman Arkham Knight. Huh?
Is that a brand?
No, it's a berry that is popular in Oregon. And it's a relative of blackberries. It's based off of Salem, is Marion County, so it's Marionberry.
Marion. Okay.
Yeah, Marion Berry.
Like Marianne Berry.
I also thought it was like two different things.
No. And it's delicious. It is. If you ever come to Oregon and you have the chance to try a Marionberry something, try it. It's good. I personally like Marionberry cobbler and Marionberry lemonade. Those are really good. Anyway, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday I played Batman Arkham Knight, and I beat it. I did not 100% it. They very much want you to do the side missions in that game to, not only pad out the time, but make the story more intriguing and stuff. I did one or two of the side missions all the way. One that I did was the Two-Face missions, and I locked up Two-Face. And then I was like, I'll just do the Riddler has his own missions to save, and during it you save Catwoman. So I saved Catwoman.
You also track down all 300 collectibles.
So I was getting to that. Okay, so I do the missions that they give you, and I end up saving Catwoman. And then after I save Catwoman, you leave, and the Riddler comes out like in a giant tank or like a mech suit, and you fight off his goons, and then he goes and hides, and it's like, aha, you can fight me once you get all of my collectibles. And I was like, fuck that, and left. I just finished the game. Fuck that noise. In order to get like the full ending, you do have to 100%. There are 5 villains that you have to lock up. Two-Face and Riddler and Penguin, and a couple others. I don't remember who. You lock them up, and then you're able to get the Nightfall protocol and actually finish, get the proper ending. And I didn't do that, so I just beat the game, and I'm done. I'm done with the game. It was not great. Half of the game is good.
Have you seen the cutscene from whenever you beat up the Riddler in his ending?
No. You want to tell me?
It's pretty good. Like, I don't remember the details. I just remember Batman just fucking Like it's so obvious that they wanted Batman to like look like he was just fucking done with the Riddler's bullshit.
No.
I'm pretty sure you like grab his head and you're like slamming it into the floor or something.
Yeah.
Like, and he does it over and over and over again. Like,
there is one part. I think Connor was there. I think Connor was watching this part when I was doing it, but I could be wrong. There's a part where you're trying to subdue somebody who is infected with Joker blood. And part of the crux of the game is there are like a few people that are infected with Joker blood, and they are turning into the Joker. And so this guy, you have to go.
Wait,
you have to subdue him.
It's the plot of that Batman Beyond special?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's like 5 people instead of what it
Robin.
was. Yeah, Robin.
But maybe it's actually 6.
Yeah. So you go there, and the person is a singer. So you kind of have a hallucination where the Joker is singing a song to you, and it's Mark Hamill, so it's fucking amazing. And I did not realize that you're actually supposed to do something during this. So Batman is standing on the stage, Joker's singing, and then you are playing as Robin defusing the bombs. And I'm just watching the song, and it's like going on, and I'm like, why is nothing happening? Why isn't it progressing? And then I was like, oh, I have to actually defuse these bombs. I guess I'll go do that. But it was the best part of the game. I did explode, actually. I didn't press the correct button when I got to the Joker after the bomb was defused, and so I had to do it again. But that just means I had to sit through the amazing song again. It was fine.
The worst kind of
punishment. He gets
punishment.
to do something else now that the Batman shit is done with.
Yeah. Well, and after Arkham Asylum, or I'm sorry, Arkham City, they were like, oh, they're done. Kevin Conroy is his name, I believe, for Batman.
The director?
No. I thought
the voice of Batman.
The voice of Batman, yeah. He was like, I'm done. This was a good ending to my story as Batman. And then Mark Hamill was like, yeah, I'm done. And then they're like, we'll give you money. And they're like, oh, we'll come back, I guess. I don't know. So, like,
is he Batman in multiverses? Do you know?
I have no idea. I know he was there. There's a show. Is it Arrow or one of those shows, Flash, something like that, where he plays an alternate. He plays a multiverse version of Batman, like live action, which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that they're just scared of making a Batman game without the Joker. Like,
I mean, yeah.
That and I
look at how well making Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man is going.
But
you got Morbius.
Well, yeah, but that's different.
I don't think that's really the same. Yeah.
Yeah, that's different because they're making a Batman. You can make a Batman movie.
Because like ultimately, I like everyone generally seems to agree, and myself too, that like Batman as a character is completely uninteresting. No one gives a shit about Bruce Wayne.
Well, yeah.
It's all about the villains, and if you want something to be successful, you've got to use the character that everyone knows, which is Joker. Now,
yeah, I mean,
I think it's short-sighted to think that way, but I think that's the way that publishers would think about it.
Yeah. Well, especially,
but where's the Joker? Who's the croc? Who's his crocodile? Fuck! I don't care about him.
I can see that. I can see their reasoning by that, but I think that at least the first 2 Arkham games were such strong games that they could have done something new.
Arkham City is like that's a game that should like go up there with like the original Halo or Halo 2, like, or Pac-Man. It's like
What did
something
it
that
do?
should
It only modernized the formula for every combat simulation since.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, it really
but
has.
also not even that, but like that it was so like being a mainstream centric action game that also managed to have an incredibly impactful story for a comic book character, like it being a licensed game on top of it all. Like there I don't know of any other game that managed to pull off everything that it was trying to do so well.
Well, like
I would say it being a licensed game.
I would say Arkham Asylum also is, I mean, it's not
Arkham Asylum, if anything, I would say that it was if it was just Arkham Asylum, if Arkham City hadn't come along, I'd probably be saying almost the same thing about Asylum, except with it not being an open world game and being more of a Metroidvania.
Well, and here's the thing. What I was going to say is Arkham City came out and everyone kind of knew it was at least going to be a good game. Like, because Arkham City came out previously.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
And Arkham City came out and nobody was fucking expecting it. Like, nobody thought the game was going to be good.
Arkham Asylum came
out. Oh yeah,
no
Arkham Asylum came out. And nobody thought it was going to be a good game. Or nobody knew about it from what I like.
Yeah.
It wasn't there weren't a lot of people who were talking about it, like hyping it up and stuff. Well, it just came out and was an amazing game.
Yeah, because like what I had said before, that like it being a licensed game, like no one thinks anything of that. Mm-hmm. Like probably the best licensed game that we had prior to that, at least I think it was prior to that, was like the Wolverine Origins game.
Wolverine Origins or Spider-Man 2 for the Xbox and PS2.
Yeah, the Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you guys ever played GoldenEye for the N64? Pretty good.
It's a good game. It runs at like 14 frames a second.
That's all you need, baby.
Smooth 14 frames a second.
And that game proved that.
Yeah, exactly. So and then in the multiplayer, it dipped into like 8 frames a second. It was great. The other game I played on Friday, as you know, I like MMOs, but I have a hard time playing MMOs because I don't have friends, and the friends I do have that used to play MMOs, I'm in my 30s now, and they all have like
they're all dead.
They all died.
They all died. No, they all have They all have lives like a wife, and kids, and jobs. So we can't spend like 20 hours, doing a raid or anything like that. I don't like WoW, so I can't play with Aroa. And his family hates me. Actually, I think your family doesn't hate me anymore.
Yeah, they've definitely gone back to the indifferent feeling. So
okay, cool. That's
you ever want to raid? We almost have enough for a 10-man raid.
Oh, good. I would bring the group down. I would be awful, I think.
Yeah, you would.
At WoW, yeah.
Yep.
But so I'm constantly looking for new MMOs, and there was a new MMO that went into beta, and it's not beta, it's alpha, definitely an alpha, because there's so many things missing from it. But I also don't like it. It's called Fractured Online. It is a survival MMO, like super sandbox. And I did the math. In order to just make it so that you could have one item, so that you could actually make it with normal quality, so beyond poor quality, you have to make that item 10 times. And then if you want to make it above average, you have to make that item another like 50 times. So you have to.
It's Final Fantasy 14 crafting.
Yes, but way worse. Way worse. At least Final Fantasy 14 crafting has some depth to it. It's not just.
Oh no, it's isometric.
It's isometric. Yeah, it's an isometric survival game, and like there are like there were people in the chat that were like, "Oh yeah, it's a sandbox game. You can do whatever you want." And I'm like, "That's great." But like Star Wars Galaxies was a sandbox game and you could do whatever you want. But they also had quests you could do. And there's nothing. There's no quests. There's no NPCs that I ran into. Like, you just run around and kill wolves and grab branches. Each branch is 1 kilogram, by the way, that you pick up.
I wonder if these developers were like maybe trying to draw influence from like older MMOs, like the older hardcore PvP focused MMOs, like
probably. Yeah, after 40 hours of gameplay or 80,000 experience points, which they called knowledge points or something like that. Then you are queued for PvP, open PvP. I'm definitely not getting there. I uninstalled the game already. It was not fun. I did not enjoy it. There were times that I had fun, but it just wasn't worth it. Yeah, so that was 3 hours of my life I wasted on Fractured Online. So, and don't play it. Wait for another MMO. Ashes of Creation should launch in the next 10 years. And that actually looks good. Or I'll just play WoW Classic. You want to do WoW Classic, Aroa?
Hey, fucking Wrath of the Lich King comes out soon.
Yeah, I saw that. Or we could play Final Fantasy 14.
I don't have the space for that.
Oh,
is somebody who fell off the WoW wagon back in Burning Crusade days going back and doing Wrath of the Lich King like for a first time? It's actually very appealing to me.
Yeah, that's why I'm actually planning on doing it. Like, Wrath of the Lich King is like when I first started hearing about WoW and took an interest in it, and I really want to experience that the way that it was.
I was a senior in high school when I first heard about WoW. Like actual, like, not just, oh, wow. Like, my friend was playing WoW when it first came out. So I've known about it since release. I never got into it. But anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about some news stories. Who here wants StarLink? I mean, if I had no other option, I'd probably get it. Like if I was out in the boonies and I had no other options to get decent internet, I'd probably get StarLink. But they have a new option to get StarLink quicker than you can, because right now, if you order StarLink, you're put on a wait list, and then after your 6 months or a year or whatever, they end up sending it to you. You pay the $500, they send it to you, and you go on your day.
$599 US.
Yeah, $599 US, and then $120 a month. Which, to be fair, yes, that's expensive, but it's not.
It's internet anywhere.
Same price as other satellite internet providers, but you get like 10 times the performance.
Yeah, and the latency is not bad. There's some issues. It wouldn't work for us because we do streaming, and the download I guess is good and stable and reliable, but then the upload will kick out, a couple times an hour while it switches satellites. So I've seen YouTubers who are like, it's great, but then I'm in the middle of a call and I'll drop for a few seconds before I come back up, and that's not really good for streaming. And they seem to be improving the download speed, the download stability, but not the upload stability.
5G is probably going to be more viable in the long term.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. However, this new plan that they have is an RV one. So the current state of StarLink, when you order it, if you do it like we just said, you would be locked to your specific location. So you would get a few mile radius, but basically you have to stay at your house. You can't move your satellite around, at least right now. They don't have that functionality included. However, the new RV one, you will have that functionality included. And it costs more. I think it's $50 more. It says here in the article. The service costs $135 a month instead of $120 a month. And it's $110 a month for the base cost. So it's $25 more a month for the RV. So $135 a month. And I believe the setup cost is also like $600. I think it's $500. I don't know if that is more. I thought it was $50 more. But you pay a little bit more, but then you can hook it up to your RV and drive around and use it while parked. If you use it while in motion, you void the warranty. Or whatever your terms of service is.
Wait, what?
If you hook it up and you're trying to use StarLink while driving, you void the terms of service.
Huh? Why?
I don't know. That's what they say.
Screw your passengers, I guess.
Yeah. I have noticed there was a guy before this even came out that hooked it up to his RV. Like, he created his own little mount that makes the dish flat with his RV, and then was driving around and using it that way.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, do what you want. But yeah, it's a neat idea. And if I were a nomad or living in a van down by the river, I'd probably do it. At least I'd have internet service.
Down on the bayou.
You joke about that, but that's sounding more and more appealing with each passing day.
Yeah, it is.
You got it. You ain't wrong.
So again, but we don't need it because we're like, you guys are in. Well, Connor's in a big city. Roa has fiber 1 gig internet.
Somehow.
Fuck you. And I have decent internet, so we don't need Starlink. Also, I have trees.
Whenever I live on a farm, then I'll need it. Then I'll be calling up old daddy Elon.
Yeah.
Don't
Let's
call him
move
that.
on. Let's move on to something else we're not going to buy.
I do have just one closing thought. I'm
What's
sorry that you went through that too fast. It's a damn disaster that they didn't call this StarVLink.
I know,
Right.
right? I know. It's unfortunate, but it's all right. I hope that they do well and they make Elon Musk more and more money so that he can buy things that really matter, like Twitter.
And hush money.
And hush money. Yeah. There's so many people that are, I'm like, I'll say something like, Elon could have spent his money like feeding homeless people or building homeless shelters or literally anything than trying to buy Twitter. And people are like, well, it's his money. He can do what he wants. And I'm like, yes, he can. But
That's your point.
yeah. And he wants to not help people. He wants to complain about Twitter, and he's not going to buy Twitter.
Yeah, instead he's going to pay a big fucking legal slap on the wrist fee.
Yeah, it's great. I hope he has to pay a huge fee. I know he's going to pay $1 billion to Twitter for backing out of the deal. But I hope there's more. Anyway, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about new monitors. We all love new monitors. I still have to send Roa monitors. I haven't done that yet.
I haven't had a new monitor in a long time.
Well, maybe this will entice you. Do you like high refresh rate monitors?
I don't know. I've never had one.
They're very nice.
Would you like to have 120 hertz?
Yeah.
How about 144 hertz?
I mean, that does sound like a marginal improvement.
How about 300 hertz? They have those.
I mean, I guess so. Does that even have a point?
No, surely that's the highest it goes, though. We can't get higher than that.
No,
that's too fast.
We can't. Yeah, we can't get up to
That sounds
500
like an 8K
frames.
monitor.
500 frames a second. 500 hertz.
Why?
I have literally no idea.
Who's this for?
I have a 1440p It's 1440p and it's 144 hertz monitor, and I run them at 120 hertz just to make sure that all of my hardware is working fine. Because I have a capture card, and the capture card can technically do that, but it's like the pushing it a little too much, I think. So I just have it at 120, and it works. It works great. It's great. But they're coming out with a 500 hertz monitor that is only, I believe it's only 1080p. Yep. The Asus ROG Swift 500 hertz gaming monitor manages refresh rates with lower resolution. The 1920 by 1080 screen leverages a new take on the twisted pneumatic panels called ETN, with the E standing for esports. Of course.
Okay.
According to Asus, the ETN panel offers 60% better response times than the standard TN panels, and it's in its own announcement. NVIDIA claimed that ETN panels brings maximum motion and clarity, but neither detailed how the technology differs from regular TN panels. So yeah, that's
probably just a fucking higher clock rate on the image processor.
Probably, but what I don't understand is, like, why would you, like, yes, I think that if you're playing a game and you have the option between like a 60 hertz 1440p or like 144 or 120 hertz 1080p monitor.
Hertz. There's a Z at the end.
A Z? Hertz.
Yeah. Yes.
Hertz.
It's hertz. It's
Yeah.
not a plural word.
I am missing a front tooth.
Yeah? How many hertzes does it take to complain about that?
Well, what I'm saying is it's hard to form those letters sometimes.
You can make the sound. It just sounds like your gopher from Winnie the Pooh.
Exactly. Give me 3 months, okay? So, if you're playing a game at 1080p versus 1440p, and you have 1440p at 60 frames a second, or you want to do, esports or something, where you have like League of Legends or whatever at 144 frames a second, that makes sense.
Hertz.
Well, yes.
There's a difference there too. And
I understand.
I kind of hate this. I know you do, but
Yeah.
I do want to explain. I hate this marketing because it's trying to equate FPS to hertz.
Yeah.
And refresh rate does not equate to FPS. FPS is how much your graphics card is actually like how often per second your graphics card is actually rendering the game.
Yeah.
A big number, good.
Big number is good. And like increasing the refresh rate of the monitor is an objectively better thing. I don't actually believe that this is going to make any difference to a human.
No.
But I do agree with that. That big number equal better. It's just you're getting into diminishing returns at this point. But what I wanted to say was that FPS does not equate to refresh rate in terms of
and refresh rate,
how the game actually is processed. The refresh rate of the monitor is only just how many of those frames that are being rendered you're actually seeing. That's why if you turn off vertical sync, you can have games like Counter-Strike Go that run at 2000 frames per second. But it's not like it's running in fast motion or something. It's just that's how many frames your graphics card can pump out in 1 second. That's just what that means.
And we should also clarify that the hertz of the monitor will display those frames.
Yeah.
So if you have a 60 hertz monitor, it's going to display 60 frames a second.
You will see 60 of the however many frames are actually being rendered by your graphics card.
So in a game like Counter-Strike, where you can run it at 500 frames a second, with this monitor, you would also be able to technically see those frames on this new monitor.
Correct. And probably something like Valorant or Overwatch, which are games that are also very highly optimized for esports play.
I've complained about it before, but I'm gonna switch. YouTubers need to stop making things at 24 frames a second. They just need to stop.
Still a thing?
It is still a
People
thing.
Still do that?
Yeah, and because I have a high refresh rate monitor, I will. It's usually fine if they're sitting in front of a desk or it's like a picture or something like that. But once the camera starts to pan to the left or right, oh, it just feels sluggish. And I'm like, I understand that movies are still 24 frames a second. Like if you go to a movie theater, it's probably running the movie at 24 frames a second. But you're not making high budget movies. You're making a YouTube video that I'm watching on my 27-inch monitor. Just fucking make it 60 frames a second or 30 frames a second.
Movies are filmed at 24 frames per second because that's just what we do. That is movie culture.
Yeah, well, and
it serves no real purpose.
It doesn't. I think the Hobbit movies were at 48 frames a second.
A lot of newer movies since The Hobbit have also adopted a double frame rate for no reason other than it sounds cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry that's a tangent.
I bet you that those morons that are filming at 24 frames per second are still throwing it in Premiere, and then Premiere's doing frame interpolation to stretch those frames out to 30 FPS. That's why you get the stupid effect.
No, I look at it because when you upload it to YouTube, you can check the stats for nerds, and you can actually see that there are some that are like, oh, I make commercials for this person or these people, like actual people in the industry, and the people in the industry still want you to do 24 frames a second. But I'm like, yeah, but this is a YouTube video that you're making, so make it 30 or 60 frames a second, because there's a vast difference.
Self-aggrandizing piece of shit.
Even between 24 frames a second and 30 frames a second, I can notice the difference.
Well, yeah.
When it gets
you're also going to notice the difference because it's not going to look right on a normal display.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about... did we have a price for this? I don't think they had a price.
Probably not, because this is all presumably still conceptual more than anything. It's just them showing off that the tech exists. They did it. All right. They did it. And wow, you're not going to believe how big of a difference that this makes in terms of playing your video games. You're just
Investors, please consider us next financial circle.
I can barely see the difference between these images of 240 versus 500 hertz.
Yeah.
Where they're comparing the ghosting between the two. Like, and also, there's no way that actually makes any real difference in terms of performance. The only thing that you're going to get out of this is input latency. And again, I don't think that a human's going to notice that change.
Yeah, really they don't have a price.
It's not 30 to 60 FPS.
But
that is a substantial difference.
I'm going to B&H Photo right now, and they don't have the Asus this one. They don't have this one. They have a 4K monitor that's 144 hertz for $1,000. So I'm going to imagine this 500 hertz monitor is going to be around at least 2,000, but probably more, something like that.
Honestly, whenever you're getting up to this degree of like input and latency measuring, you're probably going to be looking more at like your input hardware rather than the display hardware.
Yeah, like how
you're going to be wanting like an 8,000 hertz input mouse or something instead.
Yeah, I've seen them look at like the time between like mouse clicks and just like how many milliseconds it takes before it actually registers. I'm not that level of gamer. I can't do it. But we're gonna move on.
I don't think anyone is.
Yeah, I
No.
don't know who this product is for other than
I
pedigree
think that-
purchases for YouTubers, maybe.
Yeah, I think that esports gamers who actually care about this form of elitism are just kind of shoving their fist up their own ass about it.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, I hope I don't actually see that, but you know what I mean.
See that.
So I don't know if you guys reported on it. I'm sorry, I did listen to the podcasts while I was gone, but Raven Software has unionized. And we Yay!
We like unions.
We do. We like unions. I like the snowball effect. Apparently, ever since the
I didn't need to know that.
Yeah, even ever since Starbucks unionized, one Starbucks unionized, and now over 100 are unionized. There's a reason
Apple stores
why
are doing it too.
Apple. There is a reason why corporations hate unions, and that's because they don't want their employees to have power. And like, I have a coworker who is like, I hate corporations. But he's libertarian. And so he also hates unions. And I'm like, okay, but if you hate corporations and corporations typically do the wrong thing, and they're typically against things that, like, they'll typically fight super hard to squash things that would help their employees. How can you hate unions?
I don't understand why libertarian always equates to anarchist.
I don't know why
so many people.
I know. I don't know why libertarian always equates to the wrong fucking idea on every situation.
Well, it's like, maybe I just don't understand like what libertarian is supposed to mean, but I was under the impression that it was supposed to mean that you believe strongly in anarcho-capitalism.
It's
you're all about laissez-faire, you're all about trickle-down economics, all that.
Yeah.
And like, if that is the case, you should love corporations, because all that is just one or two men who are propping up an entire pyramid of other people who are serving them. Like do you think that like every company should just be made up of one employee who like does everything? How do you think that that's supposed to work?
Well, and also this person argued for child labor.
Which, again, like, if you are truly anarcho-capitalist, sure, I get why you would believe in that.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the fact, and in all this, like, you and I both agree, you're a fucking disgusting moron believing in that shit. But
yeah, and he does say that he is an anarchist, but also
so
more.
Then you're not
more
a libertarian.
Yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. But
Sounds
yeah,
like he's just a fucking edgy prick who just chooses whatever he wants to believe at the time.
Yeah, it could be it. But it and anyway, unions are great. Raven Software unionized, and Phil Spencer.
Hopefully, they can stop making Call of Duty games now.
Probably not. But Phil Spencer, they're currently in talks at Xbox to buy Activision Blizzard. And by in talks, I mean they're going through with the deal. And once Activision Blizzard is bought, one of those companies is Raven Software, who is now, as we said, unionized. The Xbox boss, Phil Spencer, has come out and said, hey, we will totally support this union. And I'm like, you have to? Like you don't have a choice in the matter? What the fuck?
This makes him look better.
It does.
That's the important part.
It says once the deal closes, we would absolutely support an employees organization that's in place. We think it's the right of the employees and something that can be part of a relationship between a company and people who work for that company. Of fucking course, like you have, like, legally speaking, now they can do all sorts of shady shit before the
They will.
union is founded, or before the union vote.
I think that was what prompted. There was an Apple store in Los Angeles. It was somewhere in California that was going to unionize, and they stopped because of intimidation tactics on the part of Apple.
Apple does it. Amazon is notorious for doing it, and it's annoying. It really is. And of course, we have in the United States, we have the right to work. I think it's right to work stuff, which makes it so that if your job has a union, you can go in there, and not pay the union dues, but still get the benefits of the union. So a lot of people will. Is that right to work?
I don't. Well, it is right to work that has to do with unions, but I think it's that you can work at a company without actually joining the union.
Well,
but I
no.
don't think you necessarily get the benefits of the union in that case, do you?
Yes, you do. Yeah, because that's the way they get you. Is the union exists and they benefit all the employees, but you don't actually have to pay the dues to the union, which weakens the union, and then they get rid of the union. Well, that's basically so a lot of states have done that.
The propaganda behind right to work is also why you have a lot of people, older people particularly, who don't like unions because union dues, and how dare they be taking money out of my paycheck for whatever they're doing. I mean, what could they possibly be doing to make my life better? Like, I don't know, increasing my pay so that I can pay those union dues.
Yeah, increasing I think it's 3%. They found out states with higher union memberships have around 3% more like higher wages, and then also they typically have better medical benefits and stuff. And with a union, because you have everybody as part of it, you can do like strikes and shut down the company, whereas that's way harder if it's just every person fighting for themselves.
That happened with the Postal Service years back. And my dad was really upset about it because he was a libertarian. Not he didn't say it himself, but he was pretty much a libertarian. And he hated his union that he had to be a part of, even though he also loved those benefits, like, the really fucking good healthcare and the really fucking great life insurance bullshit and all that. But
did you
God
get
forbid
anything?
he has to. Don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
I have to wait possibly another 12 weeks after I already submitted one thing of paperwork that took 12 weeks to get to me.
So this is a good system. It's nice and efficient.
Sorry if that was a little bit too personal. I was just like, hey.
No, they also like outsource the like retirement program with the Postal Service.
Oh no.
So it's a third-party company that you have to send more paperwork to separately. So they're like, I think there are like 6 copies of my dad's death certificate floating around in the postal system right now. Like,
oh wow,
trying to get to the right place, which is great because, it has a social security number on it and it says he's dead. So, stealing his identity would be kind of trivial for somebody who wanted to do that.
If you'll excuse me, Connor and I have something to do.
I did want to mention, though, the company that I work at has a union. That there's like a section of the company that is unionized and a section of the company that is not. I am in the part that is not. But the part that is unionized, one of the effects of that unionization is that they do not have mandatory overtime.
Oh, that's good.
But as part of it, like, so you know how, Connor, like, you're on call?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you got called out and then you answered the phone and said, "I don't feel like it," and then hung up.
I think I would lose my job.
Well, that is part of the union agreement. The only time that they can be forced to go out whenever they don't want to is if their supervisor later calls them and is like, "Look, nobody else is doing it. You're the next one on the schedule. Can you go do it?" So,
I mean, I also like, if I'm on call, that means somebody is having a medical emergency, and if they're not, that means I get to yell at somebody for abusing the on-call system.
yeah. So the way that it works for us is we call whoever has the least amount of overtime already. And if they are willing to go do it, whatever we need them to do, then they go do it. If they don't, then we go to the next person in line. And we just go down that list until we get through all of them. Then we call the supervisor, and then they go, okay, how important is this? All right, I don't know, go call them all again and see if they have changed their mind. And
Yeah.
like, it's nothing like with a normal non-union situation where it's just like, look, you're coming in or we're firing you.
Yeah, when I was at fast food, I was the only one who would come in when somebody skipped their days. And so they would call me up first and I'd be like, I've already worked like 11 days in a row. And my friend Chris would be like, nobody's coming in, right? And I was like, yeah,
Don't you
I'll be
want
there.
money, Nathan? Doesn't that make it better?
I was making $7.75 an hour.
Yeah, but whenever you have overtime, you're going to get like $12 an hour or something. I can't math.
No. My job.
Like 11?
No. My job wouldn't pay overtime because I know.
Does
I know.
Oregon not
We do.
that?
We do.
But
I was 18 at the time, and I didn't know my rights as much as I do now. And also, they never scheduled us
they didn't
enough.
have the internet in those days, did they?
Yeah, no, not back in 1973. But no, I would go and I would work about 30 hours a week is what they would schedule me. So even if I got more time, it would, be like 3 or 4 hours here and there. I would not get overtime.
Yeah.
And then one time I did get like over 40 hours a week. I didn't do the math, but I'm pretty sure I got stiffed on the overtime. And I know this because my friend, who I'm not going to name, but told me that he would often, while the boss was on vacation, he would work overtime. And the boss was like, hey, I saw that you got, 85 hours in the last 2 weeks. So, a little over 40 hours. I'll pay you for your hours, but I'm not giving you overtime.
Yeah.
And just wouldn't pay it. Wouldn't pay overtime. Just did a lot of shady shit like that. So,
I just realized that Nathan's the Rich Evans of the group.
What do you mean?
I don't understand that.
The main joke we make about you is that you're old, even though you're not that much older than the rest of us.
No, I'm not that old. I mean, I'm still old, but I'm starting to feel
Media more.
Yes, probably.
I've been like binging on their shit lately.
Let's talk about virtual machines. Who likes virtual machines?
I think they're pretty damn cool. If I wasn't in security like I am, that'd be where I'd be specializing.
Yeah. I've just being a generalist, like being, general IT support and some backend stuff, has worked out pretty fucking well for me. But I have messed with virtual machines in the past. And Broadcom has decided that they want to go all in on virtual machines. And they are buying VMware.
What?
Which
the fuck?
I also thought there was a little bit of a disconnect between those two.
Yeah.
Like at least whenever Dell bought them, it made sense because Dell has EMC.
Yep. Broadcom is known for designing and selling a wide range of wired and wireless communication chips, including Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chips, and the processors that power many routers and modems. And they're buying VMware.
Chances are, if you own a thing with a Wi-Fi or Bluetooth chip, it's running on Broadcom hardware.
I wonder if they're thinking about releasing like hybrid machines that like are like modem / routers / virtual machines.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
What I was thinking, I wonder if they're thinking about getting into the ARM space.
Maybe
they want to be sort of another AMD Intel kind of thing. Kind of like how didn't Marvell go through a period where they were trying to make like x86 style? I don't think they did x86. I think they were ARM as well, but I think there was a period where Marvell, which is a company that is kind of like Broadcom in that yes, they make microprocessors, but it's purely for like storage. So like a lot of motherboards use a Marvell controller to run the SATA on the board. And I think there was a period of time like years ago whenever Marvell made like ARM processors or something for like embedded systems. So I wonder if Broadcom is wanting to get into that space of like general computing or server computing using like low cost, low power ARM CPUs that then they can leverage VMware's hypervisor tech and make a lot of money off of selling like a full stack of that.
Yeah.
I don't think VMware. So VMware has they obviously do their virtual machine platform where you have ESXi, their which is their hypervisor, and then like you have VMware Horizon, which is their Citrix equivalent, which is sort of a nice put together framework that lets you easily deploy single applications to people for like it's mainly for like remote work, so that or with like thin clients so that you can just click an icon and it gives you remote access to a VM that's only running one application. But I don't think they have a hardware stack underneath of that. So maybe that's Broadcom's plan, is that they're going to add the hardware portion of that, and you'll essentially be able to buy like a full stack of VMware server blades and put those in your data center, and like they'll be running Broadcom hardware.
I'm thinking maybe they went to buy a perpetual license of VMware and accidentally bought the whole company.
Are you sure you would like to? That's funny.
So there's a bad thing about this, by the way. I don't know if you've read it. I have a article from Ars Technica here, but there are also in the comments, and I've looked at other news sites that right now you can go, and it's expensive. I looked at how expensive it is, but to get a perpetual license of VMware, it's over $1,000.
Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah, they're switching to a subscription model.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all.
It doesn't surprise me, but I don't like it.
I don't like it either. But like, and also I could be like thinking way further beyond what Broadcom is. It could also just be that Dell isn't seeing the return on investment that they thought they would, and Broadcom's like, I don't know, we're not looking for that much of an ROI. Like,
so
fucking,
they do okay,
and they acknowledge that VMware is going to expand over time. Like maybe it's just that Dell wants money and Broadcom has the cash to send them right now, and Broadcom's just going to be betting on the future of virtualization, which makes sense.
So now, to be fair, they have their free version, which is their VMware Workstation, which you can run on anything.
A Workstation Player.
Yeah, Workstation Player. And then they have Workstation Pro, which is $200.
That's not the same thing, and that's not the bread and butter of VMware.
No.
VMware's bread and butter is ESXi and vSphere.
Yeah, and that's gonna cost you a pretty penny.
But so is all that server hardware that you're probably paying for as part of that.
Like, yes. So I'm looking at I'm loading it. Yep, VMware vSphere standard is $1,268 for a year. So that's with a year of support. That's a basic level. If you want to go into production, it levels it up to $1,300. And if you go into 3 year of support, it is $1,800 for one license.
Interesting. I didn't know that they bought Symantec. Broadcom.
Okay. I forget what they do.
Symantec?
Yeah, I've heard of them. I can't. Oh, okay.
So
they do
yeah,
antivirus.
they do anti-malware. There's security products.
Yeah.
CA Technologies sounds really familiar too. That's another one that they bought. Something about Agile. I think we use some of their products. Huh. So maybe Broadcom just has some like really big plans in the future, which
Maybe.
makes sense. Like with everyone making their own silicon for everything, like they probably know that the writing's on the wall. They're not going to be able to be pumping out their own. They're just be pumping out Wi-Fi chips forever.
Yeah. So I am going to look at this. Hopefully they keep their free workstation player. And I assume they're going to keep their free workstation player. That's not where they make their money. They don't make their money off of. They don't make their money off of us. They make money off of every single small business that has to buy their license to run their servers.
And like kind of like how Microsoft doesn't care about people pirating Windows because the real money is in enterprises licensing Windows and Office together.
That's why they never turned off the Windows 7 keys.
Yep.
So in case you don't know what I'm talking about, if you have a Windows 7 machine with a key, you can upgrade to Windows 10 and then theoretically to Windows 11 with that same key because they don't care. They're not making money off of the $100 or $200 that you spend getting a legit Windows key.
Nope.
They're making money off of the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars that every small business has to pay a year to have their 1,000 machines or 200 machines licensed
your
with
Office 365 subscription.
Office 365 subscriptions, all of that junk. Just they make billions of dollars that way, and that's how they do it. And then schools. Oh, they make so much money from schools.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what's your thoughts on this, Connor?
Just like I said before, I think it's really weird that of all companies to really invest in this, it's going to be Broadcom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What?
I mean,
they have to have some bigger plan behind the scenes.
It is
other than if it's like a cash crop and any revenue is better than the previous no revenue in this department. It's that is the weirdest part to me is I can't imagine of all the companies Broadcom doing it.
So here's the thing.
And this is like a little over 2 years worth of revenue for them too that they're throwing at this.
There are a lot of companies who branch out and do weird things that you just wouldn't expect. The one that always breaks my mind is the Michelin Tire Company. Also, is the same company that is behind the restaurant Michelin Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gerber also makes like EDC like survival tools.
Yeah.
For some reason.
It's the industry. Yeah, I remember being very young when I was like, why are they called Gerber Stars? It can't be the same.
Yeah.
What? It's the same.
And then the ColecoVision, the Colorado Leather Company or whatever, made a video game console. Just randomly.
Fucking Yamaha.
Yamaha? What do they make? I mean, I know what they make, but
Yamaha, not only are they well renowned for their motorcycles, but they're also well renowned for making the finest pianos in the world.
Yeah.
And musical instruments in general, including Vocaloid. Like they made the Vocaloid software.
Yeah,
it's fine precision engineering.
Yeah. It's amazing to me.
My grandparents had a Mitsubishi TV.
Yep, I remember that. I remember them having TVs. And they were good. They're pretty good.
Or consumer electronics in general.
Yeah.
One of the longest lasting CRTs I ever encountered.
We should do a YouTube video of companies who make just random shit that you wouldn't know about. Well, like Nintendo again was like a playing card company.
Yeah.
And then they started making computers, but it's
a little less weird because I was thinking of Zenith as well, because Zenith made like medical equipment or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But then they also made like TVs.
Yeah.
But that makes some sense because like there are screens on medical equipment. So
they have there's electronics and stuff involved in that. So, anyway, we're gonna end it here. We're done for the day. We will be back next week. I think everyone's gonna be here. I think the Roa doesn't start his new schedule for a couple of weeks. So, as long as there's no medical complications or family issues, then he should be here. I'll be back next week. I don't know about Connor.
Hopefully
thank you guys.
My dad doesn't die again.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being here. And goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.